rise and rest my bones. I can't be more than a mile or so from Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, where the river winds across Mason and Dixon line. Heaven waits for me, I know, in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio. I walked halfway from Louisville, and there she sits at the foot of a hill, shining like a jewel in the valley below. Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, where the river winds across Mason and Dixon line. Heaven waits for me, I know, in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio. How are we doing tonight, folks? So glad you're here. I am thrilled to be here. And if I hadn't made it clear enough, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I feel like half the audience just laughed at that joke, and the other half was going like, oh my god, is it really going to be 15 minutes of these types of jokes? And the answer is yes. No, but really, I love growing up in Cincinnati. I loved it so much. And there's nothing better than Skyline Chili, La Rosa's Pizza, eating UDF and Grater's Ice Cream, going to high school football games on Friday nights, and sleeping in on Saturday mornings. You know, this happens every time I talk about Cincinnati. I just miss it more and more. I guess perhaps my memories got too strong, grabbed me by the heartstrings and pulled me home. I got to think about some friends I know in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, where the river winds across the Mason and Dixon line. Heaven waits for me, I know, in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio. Fun fact about that song, it is played at the 7th inning stretch of all Reds home games. I know, right? But, and one fun fact more, I got to do something that I've been waiting to do my entire life when I went back home to Cincinnati this past summer. I got to have a beer with my dad at a Reds game. Now you laugh, but it was actually seriously awesome. I loved it. Growing up with 3 sisters, my dad and I have taken guy time very seriously because I also had no brothers. And so we always have taken guy time seriously, even back to when I was in preschool, when he would pick me up from school and we would go home and he would make us lunch every other day. It would be peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable sandwiches. And if you've never had an Uncrustable, it's basically like a sandwich with the crust cut off, but because the crust is cut off, it's so much more than just a sandwich. And it's also mind-boggling to a 6-year-old. Whenever he would make that for us, we'd go downstairs and we'd watch The Lion King, which to this day is still my favorite movie. Now, a few years after we'd started that tradition, I had gotten into a little bit of trouble, which wasn't necessarily an odd occurrence for me, because I was the kid that thought, you know, that if you forgot your key when walking home from school, the only thing for you to do is try to pick the lock with a piece of mulch. I was also the kid that thought that fish can, and furthermore enjoy, being tickled. That resulted in a toppled-down dresser and a dead fish, which my sister really still hasn't forgiven me for. But actually, my favorite occurrence was when I was a young kid, and I thought that just because my friend wasn't at his house, and in fact nobody was in the house, doesn't mean that I can't go inside and play with his Batman toys. That was the day that young Charlie found out what breaking and entering was. No, but so when my dad was fixing this particular problem, he looked at me and he said, "Son, you know I won't always be here." And I bawled. That had never even come across as a possibility. Believe it or not, I have come a long way since 2nd grade. But to this day, I'm still coping with the idea that when I do go back home to Cincinnati, it's just a visit. Night and the spirit of life calling my May love, and a voice with the fear of a child answers. So listen. Wait, there's no mountain too great. Hear these words and have faith. Whoa, have faith. In me, they're watching over